So I want to I want to address an issue that I think is important in national interest. This is an issue that I think requires a very thoughtful explanation. So the PF government this past week, and in particular the president himself, had a meeting at State House with a group of individuals calling themselves the Jerabos. So if you don't know what the Jerabos are, these are people that basically are thugs. Okay, these are street thugs and hooligans that political parties use in the Copper Belt for campaigns and for various political activities. The Jerabos are basically street businessmen that have decided that because we are unemployed, we are going to claim a piece of private property called Black Mountain and use it for illegal mining. And that Black Mountain, if you don't know, is owned by a private company. And for you who don't know what Black Mountain is, basically this is residue or the stuff that mining companies on the Copper Belt have been, dumping rubbish in a certain spot, and it has piled up for many, many years. And over time, people have gone there to dig and mine and get that residue copper. Sometimes that is found there. So a lot of young people actually were going there, and organized by these little thugs and hooligans that have a little bit of money. They organize themselves and they call themselves small-scale miners, which is there's nothing wrong with that. We do need to empower the youths. But these are not youths that went to meet the president. That's point number one. These are well-to-do businessmen that have taken advantage of unemployed young people that they use for violence and also the so-called political activism on the Copper Belt concerning the Black Mountain. These are individuals that when you go on their Facebook page, they flash guns. They call each other commanders, posing on Hummer vehicles, and driving nice cars. These are not poor youths. These are not young people that are unemployed. These are street businessmen who operate illegal businesses, amass a lot of wealth, do not pay taxes, and the government has decided that they're going to reward them by giving them Black Mountain. Why am I making this video? The reason is simple. Because of what the government has actually, the steps that they have taken to do this. What the government did was to go to this private individual that owns this Black Mountain and said, look, we have these people that are never going to go away. They're going to be a thorn in our flesh for a very long time. And they have been for a long time, not only for the presidents of Edgar Chagwa Lungu, but also for Santa's presidency and also MC Mwanawasa's presidency. So what Malungu did was to sit down with this private individual who owns Black Mountain, the private company, and said, look, we're going to get it from you. However they did that, we don't know. I am assuming that or speculating that in fact, governments used public resources to buy the Black Mountain from this private individual. And when they bought it, they have decided they are going to hand it over to these so-called Jerabos, these so-called youths who are actually not youths, and empower them. Now, my concern is that you are taking public money. You're taking my taxes. You're taking taxes from marketeers. You're taking taxes from poor civil servants. You take that money, public funds, buy a private property, then hand it over freely to these Jerabos and these individuals, so-called youths, who are PF cadres, in fact. And you call it youth empowerment. And then you encourage them to form a cooperative small mining company to operate under, so that it becomes a legal business entity. But so in fact, what you have done is you have taken public funds. After you took public funds, taxes that we all pay, and rewarded PF thugs and hooligans with a company on a silver platter to take over a black mountain. Why is that a problem? Because of the fact that you have used taxpayers' money, public funds, to buy a private property and then hand it over to certain individuals who are standing on the steps of State House with PF symbols, raising PF symbols, is a matter of political miscalculation and also plunder of public resources. You cannot take people's taxes and buy private land and then hand it over to PF cadres. You cannot do that as a government. Even if you think you have the right to empower youths, you can't do that. Because natural resources cannot be distributed discriminatory like that. What in fact you are telling us is that, you know what we can do? As youths in Livingston, for instance, we can organize ourselves, march and cause havoc on the streets, threaten government officials, and then lay a claim to the Victoria Falls. That's exactly what you're saying. And then what we would want you to do is invite those youths in Livingston to State House, by the same logic and by the same act, hand over the Victoria Falls or parts of the Victoria Falls that are owned by private individuals and tourism companies, hand it over to a group of selected youths. Shall we do that then? Because that's a model of operandi now. And then, youths in Solwezi or in Rumwana area, they should do the same. Gang up together, threaten government ministers and officials and private entities operating in Rumwana mining areas, and claim a property and tell them we'll vote you out. We will take you on as government if you don't give us this particular property right here, regardless if it's a private property or not. And then you are going to invite the youths from Solwezi and from Mwinilunga and anywhere to State House and hand them over that property. That is what you're basically telling young people to do across the country, because those people that came to meet you at State House, I can bet you, are not even unemployed. Those are thugs that have built houses out of illegal businesses, that have built wealth, amounts of wealth, and taken from these young people. Very few young people that are employed on the copper belt will actually benefit from that cooperative that you're talking about to actually establish for them. This is what has happened. And those are my views. The government's intention might be right, to empower young unemployed youths in the nation. How you're doing it is wrong. Our land, our mines, our natural resources belong to all of us. No one group can lay a claim to a national resources bought for by public money, taxes, that we all pay. So what you did is wrong. Thank you. Comment on my video. Let me know what you think as young people across the nation, across the globe. Is the government right to use your taxes to buy Black Mountain and give it to a few illegal business dealers who claim to be Jerabos and threaten government with votes in the next coming elections? So the government feels jittery and buys the property for them and tells them to form a cooperative so that they can hand over the Black Mountain to them. Tell me what you think. Thank you.